Recording now. Look at that. Already we're on fire. We've got 15 on board here. Maureen was the first one to get here. That's awesome. Brooks here. How's it out there? I bet it's nice and chilly out there. And Joyce is calling in from Astoria. That's great. And Adelia is here from Central Willamette Valley, which is fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I'll just share a little bit about the agenda. I'm Michael Connor. I'm a specialist with the Early Learning Division, and I help coordinate the OPK program in the great state of Oregon. The Beaver State, I'm back in the United States, having flown in yesterday. I got in a cab in Puebla, Mexico at midnight, our time, Tuesday morning, and I got home by 3:30 in the afternoon. That was a great long trip. Anyway, glad to be here. Great team, great projects. Donna, assuming she lands here, is going to give us a little update. And then there is no CLAB director update. Shauna is on leave right now, and she'll be sending out some information about that soonly. Teresa, our colleague Teresa, is going to have an update. She's excited about that because she's not able to access the meeting quite yet, so she's working on it. I do have an update on several items for you, including the Lead Learn Excel class, TS Gold, cost modeling, and the community assessment work group. I want to mention that our next webinar is Wednesday the 24th at 9. Dawn's got some updates that will be happening at that webinar, so that's pretty cool. And we're treasuring our Dawn time lately. We're all treasuring the time we have left with Dawn. And then we'll have an OPK only huddle where we're talking about Lead Learn Excel and also monitoring. As usual, feel free to raise your hand or type a question in to the question box if you've got something you want to get some clarity on. And otherwise, we will get started. Donna, are you on the board?
Great, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Sure can, Donna. Go ahead.
Okay, we have a couple of things that are looming in the horizon. The first one is that we are going to approach the legislature and ask for $15 million in additional dollars that would go to increase teacher salaries. In light of the fact that there's not a whole lot of money out there, we're probably not going to get it, but we're hoping that there would be a little movement to give us some that would move us in that direction. Right now, everything looks really positive. Our lobbyist, Justin Rainey, and I will be meeting with Miriam and Lindsay Capps at the end of the month to gain support from the department to move this plan forward. Our second piece that we're going to be doing some research on, and it may be sooner rather than later that it might happen, we're going to be looking at how we can fund facilities for programs in Oregon. I need the help from the directors, though. I need to know if you could expand, and you're not expanding because of a facility issue. If you could estimate how much it would take for you to be able to either remodel a facility or purchase land and build one, those kinds of things, because we have no idea what kind of money we're talking about. And that puts us at a huge disadvantage, not being able to come up with even a ballpark dollar. So if there's a program that is sort of concluding a building project and doesn't have enough money to finish, if there's a project that you are funding for, a capital project, but you don't have enough, if you are contemplating going out for a capital project and you need some money, if you just need to remodel a space to expand or even do your job right now, please email me and let me know how much money you would need, because without that information, we can't move this part of our goal forward. So just let me know. Like I said, it just needs to be ballpark figures. We don't have to be down to the dime, but without that information, the legislature would just laugh at us and say, well, you don't have a figure, so how can we know what to fund? I know that this is gaining support from Miriam, And we might even be able to expand it to include childcare or preschool promise, other programs that might be in there, which would make us give us a very strong position, because it wouldn't be just for Head Start. So let me know, and that's what we're doing at the moment.
Great, Dawn. I want to just give a moment for if people have questions or comments to add, and then otherwise we will move on to Teresa. Teresa, take it away. She's unmuting.
Okay, well, can you hear me? Awesome. First, I just want to let everyone know that the next set of TANF recruitment lists are going to go out today. So if it's not you, please make sure that someone in your organization is looking for those, because they go out on a encrypted system, and you only have a few days to access them before I have to resend them again. So please look out for those. Next, data entry on monthly reports. Monthly reports are coming in very timely, and I appreciate that. There are a couple things I would really like it if everyone could keep an eye on. There are some areas where we ask for numbers, and people are starting to put like comments or text in those boxes. Please save that for the comment boxes, because we actually end up using that numerical data to do calculations, and I have to go in and do edits on the data in order to be able to do calculations. So other than that, you guys are doing great on the monthly reports, and I really appreciate that. Next, grant period. I'm meeting with our procurement office so that we can get the documents ready so that we can roll through this next year of grants and try to get everything out in a much more timely way now that we understand what the new process from the Department of Justice is. I'm timelining it right now, but I meet with procurement in the next week or two, and we should have a timeline to give everyone. I'll send it out via email so that you don't have to wait until the next directors meeting if we don't have it by the meeting at end of January. The goal is to have everything in place so that grants will be ready to fund on July 1. So timing on signatures is going to be critical, and I know on our end, getting all that stuff to you guys so you can get everything put together is going to be really important. Once I get the timeline ready, I would love to hear feedback on any issues. One other thing that I didn't put on this list is the yearly data that we do. Usually it opens up in July. And this year it's going to open up at the beginning of June so that programs have an opportunity to do their data before they go on any kind of summer break, rather than having to rush through it right before the beginning of the program year or during the beginning part of the program year. You can still do your data later. We're going to keep the time open as late as we always have, but we're going to see what starting it earlier does, because we've had a couple programs suggest that that would be more efficient for them. So that's everything I have today.
Great, thank you, Teresa. Sliding right into updates with this guy. So Lead Learn Excel course, wow, are we excited about this opportunity. We'll be sending out registration. We had intended to get that out by the 30th, but it didn't happen. We'll be sending that registration link out this week, I'm fairly confident. And just a reminder that we're using this term instructional leaders. We recognize that programs have different organizational structures. Some of you have dedicated people who just work on coordinating educational outcomes. Some of you are wearing many hats, including director and cook and bus driver. So you have to kind of apply that to your own program and think about who that really is. We like to think of it as those who coordinate coaching, who are responsible for educational outcomes, and coaches. So that's the layer that we're looking for. If you want to put it in an exclusive way, it would not include teachers. It would not include executive directors, probably, unless you're the executive director who's also the cook and the coach and the bus driver, which we have some of those. So for the first year, all are invited. We are emphasizing the OPK onlys, but all are invited, and we have many participants from the joint funded program, so that's fantastic. And there will be a year 2 cohort. So if for some reason it's not all coming together for you this year, no stress. If you're a joint funded program and you want to get on the train next year, that's totally fine. But I don't want you to back out if you've already said you're interested. I'm just saying if you didn't get it together to say you're interested this year, some of you have challenges in terms of staffing or turnover and so forth. That's totally fine. There will be a second year cohort happening. And we're also communicating with Region 10 to make sure that we're aligning the support that we're offering through this course. We have ongoing conversations with them about a training calendar, and maybe they're going to be sitting in on some of it. And we're super excited because we recognize that ELD has not always been able to offer as much support to the programs as we would like to. And this partnership with the Ounce Prevention Fund allows us to offer this course, which is not just a training opportunity, it's ongoing support to help you reach your educational goals. So that's pretty fantastic. I don't see any questions about that, so I'll keep going. TS Gold. Tristan is going to do a little happy dance because the 2016-17 report will come out this week on educational outcomes in TS Gold, which is fantastic, overdue. I want to talk a little bit about some of the challenges that people have had. I want to encourage you all to use the My Teaching Strategies help desk and helpline for technical support around how to use the tool. And with us, we'd like you to share concerns that you have and successes. We definitely want to know about both of those. That's me and Teresa. And then if you've got issues around contractual issues, that's really what we can help on the most. Like if you've got a site that's not loading under the contract, or you've got issues with on the administration side, that we're definitely up for helping you on that. If you've got problems about checkpoints or how to access reports, that's really a TS Gold My Teaching Strategies help desk question, because they're the ones that really can understand the guts of how the system works. So just sort of who we want you to go to for what. But we do want to know about concerns and successes, and many of you have been communicating with us about those. We are establishing a strategic plan with My Teaching Strategies. That's at their initiative in some ways, although we've always had one. And we're hoping to introduce some sort of measure of user satisfaction. That's your end of things, teachers and those who are TS Gold coordinators, so that we can measure in sort of a global way how are we doing in this tool, what's working, what's not, just like everything we try to do around here. We'll be developing some spring meetings to share concerns, successes, and plans, and that will include an advisory OPK user group from sort of some experienced users from your side to help us understand what's happening, what's working, what's not. And that will be in coordination with one of the OHSA meetings. So we'll have some meeting time and some sharing time about a strategic plan at either the April or the May meeting. Seeing no questions, I'll keep going. Cost modeling, another great topic. We have drafted a model for quality Head Start in Oregon under the OPK model. We'll be sending out a doodle this week to confer with the OHSA work group that we established in the summer but hasn't yet met, as we developed internally this model. And we'll be conferring with you about some of our assumptions and hoping to get better understanding of what an actual program would have to do in terms of staffing and allotting staff time and so forth. The model is very flexible in terms of salary, and we can express salary in lots of different ways, including as a share of average kindergarten salary. We're after we confer with the OHSA work group, then we'll be presenting a final draft to ELD leadership and the Head Start Association this spring, and it's really looking good. We've gotten a lot of technical support from the good folks at CELO. Teresa and my colleague Ivan and I have been working on it pretty intensely for the last 3 months, and it's a very complicated picture to figure out how to model this. So I appreciate your patience, and looking forward to sharing this model with the work group and getting some important feedback about how to tweak it and revise it and so forth. Not seeing any questions or hands raised, so I'll keep going. That brings us to the community assessment work group, which has met several times. We've developed some recommendations or some guidance about integrating the community assessments with the equity deliverables. We've gotten some clarity on data sources and how to and what kind of data packet from the state would be most useful. We've got some guidance to offer around coordinating with hubs, and we're developing internally some standardized submission options. I'm needing to draft a summary to share with both ELD leadership and the association. So I'll be drafting that summary and sharing it out to the work group to get some feedback and revisions and complaints, and then I'll share a final draft out this winter. I'm hoping to put that committee, that work group, to bed so that there's some other work groups that we can start up. Giving a chance for questions or comments. Seeing none. I do want to just highlight some of the events that are coming up. The Winter Conference here in Salem, just a month away. Seems like it was not that long ago that we met, but we're here again in Salem. Looking forward to meeting with you all there and so forth. Wow, that is a beautiful graphic. The Specialist Conference in April is one of the places that we may be doing the TS Gold work group or advisory committee, or whatever we call it, at the lovely Central Oregon. And then the Summer Institute, I just want to encourage you all to save the date. It's looking like we're going to have a class observer training there in Albany, and a couple of other super classes that ELD is organizing, and then our partners are offering other courses, especially around trauma-informed care and other social emotional concerns. So concerns is not the right word, but you know what I mean, that domain. And then Dawn, I'm going to put her on the spot that she had a couple of things that she wanted to tell us about for the next meeting. So Dawn, I can unmute Dawn, I bet. 3, 2, 1, you're unmuted.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, because I can't hear myself. Well, so good morning, everyone. At the webinar on January 24th, I will be going over the draft policy that we're writing for preventing and reducing suspension and expulsion, and the recommendations that will be moving forward to the Early Learning Council. So there'll be a chance for you all to hear what we've been working on and to have an opportunity to give some feedback on the policy and recommendations. I'll also be trying to do some recap of various projects that I've been working on for the past months or years. So hoping to do kind of a final report on the Head Start QRIS alignment work, just to make sure it's as far along as I'm thinking it is based on the deliverables we had. And then you can all decide where we need to go from here on future QRIS or Spark input revisions, those kind of things. And I'll be giving an update on things like the program models work group and some other things. So anyway, trying to recap a lot of the projects I've been working on, because I will only be around for another couple of months. And then I'll see you in other venues. So that's all.
Thank you, Dawn. Sure appreciate it. And that brings us to the end of the regular portion of our abbreviated rapid pace Oregon Head Start Pre-K ELD webinar for the month of December, which was postponed to January. I want to give a moment in case anybody has questions or comments, concerns. Otherwise, I will invite the OPK onlys to stick around and wish the rest of you a good day, a happy day, a welcome to 2018 day, and so forth. We'll start the OPK only huddle in just a couple minutes here. Maybe a minute. Maybe that's all we need. Julie asks how soon the recording will be available. I would say within a day or two. It doesn't take very long. And we'll get that up on the ELD website. Teresa's giving me the more or less sign, which is great. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started on the OPK only huddle. Excited to talk about both Lead Learn Excel and monitoring, which are coming up. As I mentioned before, most of you have identified with us who from your program will be participating in Lead Learn Excel. If you haven't done that, I'll be reaching out with you, or Annie, our colleague who's been around for a while in a different role but is joining our team, conferring with you about who are the best people from your program to be participating in the Lead Learn Excel course. It's a year-long course targeted at what we call instructional leaders. That's folks who are coordinating coaching and doing coaching. Not for teachers, not for executive directors, but more the middle level of educational leadership within your organization. And we want to make sure that all of our programs are participating and that we've got the right people at the table to move our educational outcomes along. So we're super excited about this work, as you can tell. Don't just believe it from the slide, believe it from me. It's a great opportunity, and we're thrilled to be able to facilitate it. So look for that registration, and then if you haven't figured out who's going to participate from your group, either Annie or me or both will be in touch soon. I think in the handouts for this work, maybe not. We really need to get the Lead Learn Excel flyer uploaded to the handout, so I'll make sure that happens the next little bit. So then let's talk about monitoring. Woo! Nothing brings a smile to the faces of ELD OPK folks than the topic of monitoring, which is coming up this winter. That's this term. That's this quarter. We, like the Office of Head Start, we're excited that the focus on monitoring is really around continuous improvement rather than compliance. That's the big, deep, one of the big, deep, I think, messages of the new performance standards, that Head Start needs to be oriented toward improvement rather than compliance. And the monitoring protocols that the Office of Head Start has established reflect that understanding, reflect that priority. So I'm also personally, just professionally, super thrilled that ELD has given the green light for Teresa to be participating in some of the monitoring activities with me. So it's not just the Michael show, which gets old pretty fast. Teresa's nodding. Site visits. Look, I'll put my camera on so you can see I'm smiling. Site visits. So we'll be sending out some dates for your program soon. We're going to visit all 7 OPK only programs, and if you've got operations happening in multiple counties, then we're going to really try to make it to every county where there's state-funded OPK programs. We're going to be following as close as we can the, as I mentioned, the OHS, the Office of Head Start protocols. So what does that mean? That that includes class, which aligns really nicely with our state's request that you all use class for program improvement. We'll be doing a desk review of documents, Teresa and I. So that includes such things as your annual report, your self-assessment and quality improvement plan, your community assessment, your child outcomes, any other those your equity deliverables. So that's really the place. Say that again. Budget documents, absolutely. You know, Teresa and I got to go to the Fiscal Institute. So, you know, we're fired up about that. Actually, Teresa's really good at that stuff. So we'll be doing a desk review of documents for all of the programs, and then we'll do an initial distance interview. So that's via Skype or GoToMeeting or something with your leadership team, and we'll develop the attendees list for that together. And that will be some initial questions that we follow up and with you to try to help us understand what's kind of going on in your thinking behind the documents and some of the initial observations that we have. And then we'll follow that with a site visit from Michael and Teresa. That will usually include a morning where I'm doing a class observation or two, probably just one. I'm doing a class observation, and Teresa's doing a deeper dive with you on finances. And then together, we'll be having a conversation with you and your leadership team around program improvement that will involve some listening from us about what you see is happening, and then some more questions from us and some feedback. And then we'll have reports due back to you and your boards by the 1st of April. That's our plan. As Muhammad Ali said, everyone has a plan until they get hit in the face, but that's the plan. As I said, we're trying to follow the OHS protocols as much as possible, and that's in general what they're doing, although of course their reviews involve teams of people camping out for 2, 3, 4 days. We're not going to be able to do that, but we are excited about this process. I think it's an improvement over last year and involves much more collaboration and a much better understanding of sort of what's working in your program and what you're working on and what we can do therefore to be supportive of you. So the big thing there is site visit dates are coming soon, and we'll have a document checklist to make sure that we're able to review all the appropriate documents, and if there's missing ones, we'll let you know. Questions on that? Comments? Concerns? Seeing none. Seeing none, that means that we're at the end of our rapid fire ELD OHSA webinar. Stephanie has a question. Is the plan that we will have a review each year? Yeah, that is the plan. That is the plan. And this is a small enough group. If people want to speak up, that's fine too. I can unmute people or... Does that make sense to you, Stephanie? Look, I just unmuted you. Oh, she's not speaking. She's had enough. Oh, she says yes in text land. How about Brooke? It's always good to unmute Brooke. Is it cold out there, Brooke?
It is. We got a bunch of freezing fog. I can barely see the building out my window.
Oh my gosh, you gotta get better glasses.
No kidding.
Well, that's cool. And you're just up the road from and over the hill from Teresa. How's it over by you, Teresa Martin?
We're in about the same boat with her.
Yeah. Okay. Freezing fog. How about down south where Deborah is? What do you got going on down there, Deborah? I just unmuted you so you can talk. Oh, there she is.
Well, we have, it's going to be about 45 today. Sun shining, beautiful.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's great. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, any questions from the group then about either monitoring or Lead Learn Excel. Otherwise, I will wish you a happy day. Don't see any, so I bid you adieu. Thank you for your attention. Looking forward to talking with all of you soon. Take care.
Hey.
Brooke's still on the line with her phone call. Quick, stop it. I'm trying to.